This is the second part of the Devil May Cry season premiere, episodes 5 through 8. And let me tell you, this does not slow down. So let's talk about it. Okay, key variant. So we are talking about the Devil May Cry. And this right here has been one that has got me really hyped to see this animation really come together and tell a really good story while having you have no clue about the property whatsoever. Like you can just come in and watch this. This is really good how they're doing this. So I'm very happy with it. Overall, the show I'll give it a solid. I'm in the ballpark of an 8. Like it's a simple plot with that, but it makes sense for the setup and everything. So with this one, it starts off. Again, spoilers. If you have not already watched it, make sure you go watch it, then come back and talk about it. But all the spoilers, and we're going to get right into it. Dante, Enzo, BP captured. They got to figure their stuff out. The whole team is getting wiped out. Like they are getting done in. And again, I didn't expect it to come like this fast. I thought they were going to be kind of picked off one by one more throughout the course of the show and kind of whittle it down. But no, they got right into it. And the thing is, once they got into it, it was just like everybody was taken out very simply. It was nothing too crazy about it. That whole fifth episode just focused on the team getting taken out. And we get some backstory on the demon realm, and we find out that the demons that are there, they have been pulled in by the rabbit to be there, and they've been tested on, they've been experimented on, all these different things are going on. So she has to survive. Mary has to survive while figuring stuff out. So she's hiding and stuff, and she manages to hide with these demons, but she didn't know they were demons until after they closed the door and took their hood off. So it was like she's ready to take them out, but she promised to help them as best she could. She made that promise because she's like turning over a new leaf. She's trying not to be, I guess, as bad as she was about demons because they actually helped her. Not quite sure, how that was supposed to go, but like that's kind of the direction that we're going. While this is going on, we have Dante. His demon trigger goes off, and he's able to go full demon. He's able to rescue everybody from the plane, get them land safely, and continue to fight the other brother, the blue demon, and going back and forth. And eventually he does this where he finds out where they're going, where they need to go, and they end up back in the building where the strike team is. And we see the little dolls all lined up, and all the dolls were done up in the way that the rabbit had planned to take them out, I guess. So you see like the arm missing and one smash in a corner. We see all the little like throwing stars and another one. Like, so this was methodically planned out. I love that little detail. All right. And he's sitting there having a cup of tea. So remember, this is all Alice in Wonderland, looking type stuff. So as we get through it and we go into the next episode, we see that Dante was in his devil mode and he was just doing work, dealing with the guy. Mary manages to outsmart the demons and stuff. We have Plasma that came in and about to take her out, but she was like, look, you were masquerading as a low level guy. If you masquerade as me, I can give you secrets, I can give you passcodes, like I'm higher up in rank, I can get you in. But you got to keep me alive. So he was like, all right, so he ended up changing into her. And when the other demon comes in, the plant demon comes in, sees him, immediately takes him out because she thinks that that's Mary. And then Mary proceeds to take her out with extreme prejudice. Now, during the course of this taken out, we see that she's actually trying to honor her word and help the refugees. So she makes out a call on the radio like, hey, we're not taking these people out. We're in the way that you would take them out. And we're taking them out as in we're providing them safe haven. So we're going to get them out of there, get them evacuated. So they basically get them out, get them loaded into the trucks, get them set up. We find out that Plasma survives. He was actually just taken out by the poison. And he's like, the poison packs a punch, but he's going to look at her like, hey, you was done. But we see a Bane. Bane is like, why are you taking refugees? What is going on? Like, I'm not in agreement with this. This is not what we're here for. We don't do this. And he proceeds to change the orders of what needs to happen. And he literally tells the entire team to take out all the refugees. And I think Mary has now left and she's out of range for this situation because she's moving on. But all the refugees get taken out. So the flamethrowers that are installed in the back of the trucks, shooting squad, like everything. And it's just like, holy crap, I didn't think they were going to do that. And they legit did it. Like Bane is on some stuff like, yo, I want them gone. I want them eliminated. I want them done. He is on that radicalist kind of freaking agenda as far as taking out the demons. So all of them get wiped out. Men, women, children, whatever. It's just like, man, Bane needs to be stopped right now. He is going in. So in the process of this, Plasma witnesses all of this. When he witnesses everything, he is upset at how this is happening. He says, like, well, I'm taking them all out with me. And he just comes back to his normal form and he smashes a button that nukes the entire building. Like he takes out the entire building, presumably himself included in the explosion, and just drops everyone. That finishes off episode 5. Like all that stuff was going through episode 5, and it was just a wild ride. Episode 6 is backstory. I like they put it here at 6, not all the way at 7. And then you just have 8 to finish it up. No, they put it at 6, which makes sense. And most of the episode was silent in terms of dialogue. There's a lot of music, but we see the backstory. We see Mary and what happened when she was younger, what happened with her parents, how her father was obsessed. Because we got some of that backstory before. A demon came after them and it was taken out by the train, luckily, because they jumped in front of the train. But the father was able to protect them. So he became obsessed with that work, that they're real and I got to do something. And he couldn't protect them. He's trying to figure it out, but he alienated his daughter, alienating his wife, and it was just a problem. But now we get that backstory and we see that he was doing all these tests and experiments trying to figure stuff out until eventually he got into a physical altercation with his wife and she was trying to, I guess, stop him from injecting himself with something, but he did it anyway and he ended up turning part demon and ended up taking her out and pretty much eating her in front of the daughter, and the daughter went to defend and got smacked against the wall. And when that happened, knocked over a bunch of chemicals, fire started, pretty much burned the whole house down with him included as he slowly reached out to her in his final moments. I'm like, too late, dude. But that was done. That's how she ended up being abandoned. And we actually end up seeing her classic costume that, people want to see from the game, so that we see the costume that she's going to apply. She's older and she's going to apply for Darkcom. So it was like, okay, cool. That's a nice little callback. We got to see it. But she's applying for Darkcom. On the other side, we see a little boy, presumably Rabbit, who has got the Alice in Wonderland book, and he ends up finding a way into the demon realm and, has the portal and he's teleporting back and forth. So he's going to talk with them, spend time with them because, he's got family that isn't doing right. Freaking like it's a problem. Like he feels more at home here. These people feel more like family than he's ever felt everywhere else. And after back and forth and sort of, he basically going back and forth, he ends up going back and forth between the demon realm and basically bringing them over from the demon realm. So they have, because again, the air is toxic. Everything's toxic. Kids won't survive their first year there breathing these toxic fumes, and it takes a lot for the parents who are there to take care of them because they've lost several lives at a time. And he's watched several lives be lost. So basically, and this is like a really emotional part of the story where he's trying to help. He's trying to do all he can. And Darkcom is basically training on the other end of the montage and stuff. And basically, as he's bringing everybody in, they eventually find a nice warehouse building that nobody's messing with to bring everybody in. That's where he's kind of storing everybody. They're going through and doing kind of like Robin Hood stuff. They're going through and portaling into places where they're taking food and whatever case may be to get out. But Darkcom, basically Mary's team, ends up finding them and tracking them and waiting for them. Portal open, they end up taking out a bunch of guys who are already there. portal opens up as Rabbit is trying to escape this monster that's kind of eating everything, and they're trying to escape and hurry up and get more people through the portal. And when he comes to the portal, he sees all the bodies. He's like, "What happened?" And then there's Dark Calm who got the jump on him. And you're like, "Get your hands up!" Like, "Hey, wait! Like, let us explain. Let me explain what's going on. I'm trying to save people. You know, they're demons. Like, I'm trying to escape from something." Next, you know, that monster comes through the portal and starts eating people, like just going in. So, of course, Dark Calm starts going to work on everybody, and they're taking out everybody. So, taking out everybody who's there, going after that big guy, even catch him with a stray, and he goes down, and it's just like, holy crap. But in this process, you know, she ends up throwing like a grenade belt that blows up the monster, so that he's sitting there like hurt, and he's like starts laughing maniacally at some point after a while, after she runs off and she leaves him for dead. But she, you know, she saw his face or that, so he ends up, you know, like, what do I need to do? Like, how do I need to handle this going forward? Because I am upset. And he is like maniacal, so he ends up becoming the White Rabbit. So he takes, you know, the head of type of rabbit creature, something that he made, and he sews it to himself. But he's got some kind of device that looks like keeping him alive, and he sews it to himself, and he becomes the White Rabbit, like literally freaking. So his whole head looks like the rabbit. So that's what you're seeing. So it's a mask, and basically he ends up going into the next episode where he meets with a horned demon, and he gets what he needs and stuff. He gets Virgil's blood because he needed both brothers' blood is needed to break the curse or to bring down that veil, and he already has the blue stone. So basically, he sets up like, all right, this is what I need, and Dante, you need to come to me. If you don't come to me in 30 minutes, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna start some crap. And then Mary is talking because when the building went to go blow up, Dante had saved Mary, but she wasn't really feeling it. And she ends up locking him in a box and it's just like, yo, I'm going. So she goes after Rabbit, takes a car, freaking cuts this awesome cannon weapon and stuff like that. She goes in. We see Anders is called in by work for the Rabbit. It's like, hey, Anders like, I did everything you want me to do. But he's like, you're coming anyway. I need something. I need you to go do something. And Mary continues to go on the attack, and she comes in hot, like throws a car at the monster, comes in, got the big cannon, but ultimately she is just done. Like, she can't hack it against them. She's poisoned, which is the poison is a paralytic, with that, so she's taken out, so she can't do nothing. But Dante arrives and saves, and Dante's going to work now. Dante's got to go to work. He comes to Demerel, and they're trying to have a talking moment for a minute, back and forth to the portals where he's feeling the pain. Basically, Dante's like, yeah, I'm not going for that stuff because he's very carefree about it. So I was like, I'm not going for all this. We gonna fight. And they get to fighting. So he's fighting all the rebels. And Cavaliere, that's the name of the demon that looks like Sparta. Like he's one of, like, Sparta and Sparta could be related or whatever case be. So he's fighting Cava. I'm just gonna call him Cava for sure. So it was like Cavaliere, something like that. But they're fighting and they're going back and forth between the demon realm. He's fighting up all the other monsters too. He's taking out everybody. Mary's doing what she can to help here and there. But in the process, he ends up going in and out of the realms. And at the last second, Rabbit reveals himself to Mary and is like, I am your masterpiece. You created me because of everything that happened. And she's just like, oh, crap. Because she remembers his face. Because I told you, she saw him. So now she's just like trying to process that. Like, yeah, I told you I'm trying to explain. I told you I'm trying to do. And you brought me to this. He's got all these hoses and all this stuff hooked up. And he's got to use demon blood to keep himself going because of the sickness and the survival with the healing regeneration, capabilities of the demon blood. So while this is going on and he's about to take her out, we see Cava pretty much, getting done in by Dante because Dante puts him in the portal and then splits the like he kicks the thing over to split the portal with Cava half in, half out. So it splits him in the portal, which is great finisher. Love it. So he was taken out. And then it's Dante versus Rabbit. And Dante dispatches Rabbit very easily, very quickly. Like one shot to the face, he's done. And Rabbit's like, you could have stopped it. You could have stopped all of this. You could have been done with it. But, this is what you want to do. Fine, whatever. Uses a sword, cuts the amulet, which he's holding him by over a cliff, and falls into the water. So Rabbit escapes, and Baines is like, this was the, he shows up and sees everything like, yeah, this was the first strike in the Holy War. Make sure you put all the weapons in their hands and stuff like that, so we can get a good picture for the media, because this is what's going down. This is what it's all about. So that, like, he is, told you, 10 toes down for this Holy War. Like, he is ready to freaking get into it. Now, this is the last episode we get into, and this is where it cuts to Rabbit finds Bloodstrike, who's still alive, which is one of the little blood creatures, whatever, and he eats him straight up and transforms into this hideous looking beast. Mary, who is blindly following Baines, freaking, and trying to, justify everything that he's got going on. Anders retrieves the portal device, which he needs to. Dante calls out Baines on looking for the war, like, oh, this war came to us. Like, no, you've been looking for this war this entire time. Like, you've been coming after this. You built the whole team to come after this. So you've been waiting for this war. You've been trying to get to this war. And then while there's an arguing, Rabbit attacks. He comes in hard, smacks the crap out of Mary, and just getting into it. Even Enzo ends up stepping up because he said something earlier. He's like, I would take a knife for you, maybe a small blade or whatever the case may be. But it ends up coming true because Enzo ends up getting in front of Dante and tried to fire with that cannon, but ends up taking the blade for Dante. And he ends up getting taken out. And that's what helps Dante freaking be like, yo, all right, freaking, I'm here. We finna get into this because you just took out my boy here. Freaking, even though he was probably, you just took out my boy. So he's going to work on him. Freaking, Mary comes in with a helicopter. Even though she was taking earlier, she comes in with her one arm and she's working a helicopter to fire whatever weapons and stuff they got, get stuff going. And basically, Rabbit ends up recovering the amulet. Freaking mentions that Virgil's still alive because that's how he got the blood. Opens the realm, so it was like the demon realm is taking over. They're merging, whatever the case may be. And then Dante gets stabbed straight through. It was like, yep, Dante's done. He got stabbed straight through. That's going to finish him, but we know that's not the case. He ends up getting it all together, and Dante ends up taking the sword of Sparta out of himself, and then while he's taking the sword out of himself, his demon trigger goes off and stuff like that. So he's able to fight with the demon trigger, and then we end up seeing him set up to go for a slice. And even with one more of the demon bullets left, Marius manages to fire the demon bullet and hit the device, which throws off Rabbit. And then from chest to head, we get a nice little slice that Dante's able to do to finish off Rabbit and call it a day. And then he shuts down, takes the stones out, which shuts down the demon realm. And then we're like, all right, cool. Freaking day is saved. Everything's all good. We got a happy ending, right? Everything's freaking straight. Dante and Lady talking banter, talking about a team up. Yeah, we can do a possible team up. It's like, all right, cool. That kind of sets up for like the next story, right? No, they go a step further. Lady ends up drugging Dante, saying like, no, I still got to turn you into the boss, because again, she got that blind loyalty to Baines without worrying about nothing. So it's like, yep, I got to turn you into the boss. So that's what she's set him to do. Anders ends up getting, found out that he's elite. Baines knew all along. And it's like, what you wanted to do with the device? Oh, you're supposed to destroy it? Oh, so it wouldn't fall in our hands? Well, guess what? I was saved out of an aircraft when I fell. So that, will you be saved? Shoots him out of the aircraft. So he falls, presumably to his death. And Anders, Baines ends up using the device that Anders had got to open up a portal, and then starts Operation Inferno, and then calls up a bunch of different aircraft. And these aircraft show up, start firing missiles into the demon world, and they start blowing up everything. So now it's a full-on war being waged, because again, he was waiting for this. He is taking out a bunch of innocents. He attacks. Dante gets put into like cryostasis. The stone and the sword are sent separate locations, and then Ouroboros is put together, and we see this mysterious guy with a nice little mustache, as they got a whole prison facility, Ouroboros, inside the demon world. They got a bunch of demons and stuff locked up, and then we see that horned guy from earlier. It was a horned guy earlier that gave the blood to Rabbit. He's there, and he is revealing himself to be Virgil, which we all kind of saw. So he's his human form, and he's freeing all the demons who are there. And he's proceeded to say, like, hey, they want this. We finna give it to them. And that's where it ends. And I'm like, I need my season 2. Like, this is really good. They did a great job with the show. I'm very happy with it. I don't think that they could have done anything necessarily any better, sort of that, because again, I don't know all the stuff that goes into Devil May Cry, but from watching it for the first time, from point of view, I think it was fantastic. This is very enjoyable. Let's say anime, like I said, I got it at an 8 right now. Again, solid. So, if you like hearing these views, make sure you hit the little subscribe button. I'm all about this. I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Tell me what you think of the show. Was it good? Was it bad? What do you expect to see? Freaking, you can spoil the games for me. They've been out for a while. I don't care. Like, tell me what you expect to see. What was different? What other characters could be introduced. I'm curious to know. Whatever you got. But that, if you think somebody survived that may have been kind of obscure as far as their death, let me know. I want to hear everything. So that being said, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed. Appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.